Hey guys, TecTimmy here. So today I am happy to be giving my long overdue review of the Amazon Echo Studio speaker. And as you can see, I bought not one, not two, but three of them. So apparently I'm a fan, but am I though? You'll have to stick around and watch the full review to find out. I'm going to review these from the perspective of design, compatibility, sound quality, and we'll also do a bit of a deep dive into the technical specs. So without further ado, let's get into the review.
Oh boy, it's TecTimmy time.
So I bought my first Echo Studio way back in June of 2021. In fact, I actually had to go into my Amazon account to look that up. The other two, the Glacier White ones, so this is charcoal, and the Glacier White ones I bought last year on as a Black Friday deal and then also a Prime Day deal, respectively. If you are in the market for buying these, you can get significant discounts if you wait for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Sometimes they put them on sale, sometimes they don't. It depends on the year and what's going on, I would imagine. But so in terms of what Echo Studio is, so it's Amazon's high fidelity premium smart speaker with premium sound and 3D spatial audio, which is essentially Amazon's version of Dolby Atmos built in. They also have Alexa built in. So in a nutshell, these are Amazon best sounding smart speakers as of today, bar none. These are the best ones you can get in terms of Amazon's lineup. Bose and some other high-end audio companies make their own speakers with ALEXA built in as well, but these are the best ones that you can get that work seamlessly with Amazon's own ecosystem. If you want to get a live demo of these guys, I would recommend going over to your local Best Buy where they actually have these out on display. You can give them a good test run, or any retailer near you in terms of actually getting a demo of the overall sound quality. But I will get into I'll start out with a little overview, and then I'll get into some of the technical specs, as well as I will give you my opinion in terms of whether or not you should buy these and who these are actually for. So let's get into the next section. So when it comes to design, the Amazon Echo Studio definitely stands out. It has this cylindrical shape that's modern and minimalistic, so it blends right into just about any room style. I'm currently going through my living room decor here and replacing all of my darker colored speakers with white, just because it matches my room aesthetic here. But this is what this guy looks like on my shelf. And as you can see right now, I got Obi-Wan perched up on top of him there. But I love the clean white look of this guy. And so the fabric finish combined with the signature LED light ring around the top gives it a really premium feel, almost like it belongs in a high-end audio setup. And this thing feels substantial. It's heavier than any other ALEXA speaker you'll get your hands on, and it could be used as a dumbbell if you're into that and want to work out with it. Not recommended. These things are too expensive for that. But it has a sturdy build with some noticeable weight to it, so you really get a sense that it's packed with high quality components, and it is. This is Amazon's schematic diagram from their website, printed out, and this is what it looks like inside, so pretty crazy. It has 360-degree sound. The speaker drivers are positioned all around the device, so it fills the room with immersive audio no matter where you're standing. On top, you'll find the familiar control panel, buttons for volume, mic, and action. So everything you need is right at your fingertips. Around the back, we have the power input plus a 3.5 mini optical line in for those times if you want a wired connection. And there's also an audio out jack if you want to connect these things physically. You've got a tweeter for the highs, 3 mid-range speakers for clarity, and a woofer that really brings in the bass. So that's the woofer right there. You've got your tweeters and also the mid-range speakers as well. The layout leads right to the heart of what makes Echo Studio sound so impressive. In terms of sound quality, I took a few notes for you guys. Again, we can't really do a demo because of copyright issues and the fact that you're not going to hear the same sound quality that you would as if you get a live demo. But again, so we have one tweeter, 3 mid-range speakers, and a woofer for full spectrum sound. So there's deep bass, crisp highs, balanced mids, and you can combine it with an echo sub, which I do have an echo sub, and I'll actually show you. I'll flash an image of that up on screen in terms of what that looks like in my other room. They just come together to basically sound like a symphony. So I like combining mine with other less premium Echo devices, if you will. So I have a couple of Echo shows, I have a few Echo dots, and I have a couple regular Echoes as well. And throughout my home, these guys are the star of the show. I generally have the volume up a couple notches louder, but when you put it all together, it just sounds absolutely amazing. So spatial audio is basically Dolby, is Amazon's version of Dolby Atmos, and that gives a surround sound effect. These also will adapt to your room based on your room layout. So there's sort of a smart feature in terms of the way they sound based on the layout of your room. This one, for instance, the one that I have on my shelf, sounds dramatically, not dramatically, it just sounds, the sound is slightly different than the ones that I have out in the open. And there's a richer, fuller sound in these compared to the smaller Echoes for sure, like the Echo and the Echo Dot. These will do a better job to fill larger spaces, particularly in conjunction with multi-room music. And then there's also the bass. The bass on these is really good. I like having so I have one sub in the bedroom. I'm thinking about adding a second one to the living room to just give that little bit of extra bass boost, but you really don't need it with these. These just sound amazing on their own. So I talked about the tech specs a little bit already, but what I'll do just to kind of hammer the point home is I'll put a table up on screen and just give you the rundown on the tech specs as well. So for color options, we have the Glacier White. So as of today, we have the Glacier White and then the Charcoal. In terms of dimensions and weight, so these things are 7 pounds, which is just pretty crazy, and they stay true to that 7 pound range. And like I said, you could use these things to potentially work up with if you really wanted to. 8.1 inches by 6.9, so 8.1 inches high by 6.9 inches deep, which might be helpful if you want to put these on a smaller shelf. I would say any standard bookshelf they would fit fine and also look amazing on. In terms of audio tech, so they're 330 watts at peak, Dolby Atmos with 3D audio processing, as I had said. The room adaptation, so Amazon defines that as adjust audio to room layout for clear, balanced sound. And they sound amazing. Connectivity, so Dolby and Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and line in. I would say what you want to do is make sure that these guys are on the proper either 2.4 gigahertz network if they're far away from your router, or 5K network if they're close to your router. From a connectivity perspective, that is imperative. So you want to make sure that you have these on the right Wi-Fi band so that they don't drop out and or you get some static. And then in terms of a processor, so they use the Amazon's AZ1 Neural Edge processor for best Alexa response. And they also have 6 or 7 bunch of microphones for listening. These tend to pick up better than my other ALEXA devices do for that reason, which is awesome. And then in terms of supported streaming service, it's basically all the streaming services that work with ALEXA. That includes Amazon Music, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Deezer, Pandora, SiriusXM, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn. So pretty much any music service that you subscribe to, these are going to support. And if there's one that they don't support, drop a comment down below because I'd be curious to know if there are other music services out there. And then multi-room audio. So yes, it syncs with other Echo devices. And I would say if you do decide to go with the sub, get a separate device to sync the sub with because I found the audio quality is better. So there's a little pro tip there. I have my sub synced with the Echo Show 8 as part of my multi-room music, and it just sounds absolutely amazing. So I also said I would talk about compatibility, so I will. So ALEXA integration, full integration, any other, work the same as any other ALEXA speaker that you have essentially. Multi-room music, yes, as I mentioned, so you can sync these with your other ECHO devices. Lately, I noticed it maxes out at around a 10 device limit, and then I have a hard time adding the 11th device. That seems to be a new requirement for Amazon. I'm sure most of you aren't a lunatic like me and have that many devices anyhow. So there is that. And then Echo Sub, as I said, so I believe you can pair these with Echo Sub. I have mine currently paired with it, my sub compared with the show, and then I have these all connected together through multi-room music. Sounds amazing. And then of course, smart home control. These again work just like any other ALEXA speaker. So that's it from a compatibility perspective. So to wrap things up, I'll get into the verdict on these. So in terms of an overall verdict, these are definitely my favorite ALEXA speakers in my crib here, and I have a whole bunch of them. They just sound amazing, which is why I bought 3, paired with my multi-room music as well as an Echo Sub. It's brilliant. It just sounds so good. You have crisp highs, the bass quality on these things is fantastic, and they're just overall great speakers. In terms of cons, I will say with this one and this one only, so this is my older one, I have noticed some static from time to time where I literally have to unplug it and plug it back in. It immediately resumes connection and everything's fine. But there is that. And then occasionally, just recently, I've noticed a little bit of a rattle when I put the bass way up. I have not had that issue with my newer versions of the Echo Studio. So maybe that's something Amazon has figured out how to correct over time. But this one does have an occasional static issue and an occasional rattle issue. But again, 99.9% of the time, it sounds amazing. So there is that. And I would just say, in terms of recommending these, no question, if you have the budget for it, I would say if you can't afford them, don't buy them. You can get a really good audio experience out of combining Echo shows with regular Echo Studio speaker and so forth. But if you're a bit of an audio nerd or an audiophile, these are they're just, they have my highest recommendation. And I would say if you've been on the fence and you can afford to buy one of these, do it, test it out. I know you're going to love it. And so I hope this video helped you guys. If it did, if you want to give me a thumbs up, helps out the channel a lot. And drop a comment below if you have any additional questions. Again, I've had these for better part of 3 years now. So starting with this one and then adding the other 2. And I absolutely love them. So hope this helped. Hope to see you in the next video. Cheers.